The Pyramid of Meidum was the first building erected by Sneferu after he ascended the throne in Egypt. He chose a place to establish it close to the seat of his rule, Sneferu, which is now near Meidum. This area had not previously been designated for royal graves. The ancient Egyptian engineers chose the area on the basis that it was a rocky plateau that could support the pyramid that would be built on it, and that it was close to the capital. Construction began according to the method known at that time as the method of building the step pyramid. Some modifications were made, such as building the mummy chamber inside the pyramid instead of underground. After work began on it for years, and Pharaoh's health condition was good, and there was hope for a long life, the design of the building was changed to be a large pyramid. With the completion of construction, Sneferu abandoned this project, which was planned to be his tomb, and after the transfer of the seat of government, he began building the Leaning Pyramid in Dahshur. The pyramid became a kenotaph, meaning a false tomb. The completion of the pyramid from a step pyramid to a complete pyramid experienced several interruptions in work, when Sneferu also began building the Red Pyramid in Dahshur. Sneferu chose the Red Pyramid, the first pyramid to take the shape of a complete pyramid, as his tomb. The construction supervisor was Nefer-Mat, the son of the king who was his minister, and one of his titles was Director of Royal Constructions. According to the construction of the Meidum Pyramid, the history of the development of the step pyramid into a complete pyramid becomes clear. The current shape of the pyramid represents a tower with 3 terraces, surrounded by high debris, which indicates the collapse of the outer covering layer and the stones that used to fill the terraces between the terraces. From the condition of this pyramid, we can deduce that it was built in stages, as there are still remains from all stages of construction. From it is possible to deduce the construction technology, as well as from manuscripts, graffiti, on some of the building stones with the names of the workers, some of which bear the name of the Pharaoh Sneferu. The first stages of construction were identical to the method of building the step pyramid that was followed during the Third Dynasty. It consists of layers of limestone slanted inward at a 75-degree angle from neighboring quarries, covered on the outside by a cover of flat stones of white limestone. During the first phase, the side of the pyramid was 105 meters, ending with 7 terraces, bringing its height to 71 meters. After the completion of the 4th or 5th mastaba, the building design was changed according to the second stage. Until that stage, the mummy chamber had been built in the heart of the pyramid instead of being underground, as was usual with the step pyramid. The second stage began with raising the pyramid to 8 terraces. For this reason, an inclined cover was built for the pyramid, tilted at an angle of 75 degrees, which expanded the sides of the pyramid's base to 120 meters, with the aim of making its height reach 85 meters. The coverage achieved during the first phase was still in place, and the process of expanding beyond it began. After completing the second stage, it was also covered with flat covering stones. This phase was completed during the 14th year of Sneferu's rule, when Sneferu's pyramid was the second pyramid in height, compared to the pyramid of Djoser, which had been built before him. Despite the completion of the construction of the pyramid, Sneferu decided to build 2 large pyramids in Dahshur, which indicates that he will not use the Pyramid of Meidum as his grave after his death. That is why the buildings attached to the pyramid, such as the funerary temple and others, were completed quickly. The development of the pyramid construction from a step pyramid to a complete pyramid began during the years 28 or 29 of the reign of Sneferu. This date is based on writings by workers on building stones during that stage, which refer to the 15th, 16th, and 17th censuses that were conducted in Egypt to count livestock every 2 years, which means the years 30, 33 of the years of Sneferu's rule. Because the stones of the pyramid were stacked horizontally during that stage, as was the practice in the final stages of building the Leaning Pyramid, this technique was also followed with the Red Pyramid. The pyramid was covered in the second phase, and it began to be surrounded by a third cover after the expansion process. Covering for the third stage was also made of white limestone from the Tura quarries located on the eastern bank of the Nile. This is what we find today under the rubble surrounding the pyramid. The inclination of the pyramid's areas was 51 degrees more inclined, and it followed that inclination later when building the Great Pyramid, which was built by Pharaoh Khufu during the 4th Dynasty. The side of the Meidum Pyramid was expanded to 147 meters, bringing its finished height to 93 meters, making it ranked fifth among all the pyramids of Egypt in terms of its height. The size of the Meidum Pyramid reached 638 cubic meters, but it is not completely known whether the third phase of construction has been completed. Perhaps some building platforms were left in the past, which made it easier to take the pyramid stones to build other buildings. Perhaps this was an explanation for the robbery of the upper stones of the pyramid, unlike what happened to the other pyramids. The theory that the outer parts of the Meidum Pyramid collapsed in on itself has not been scientifically proven after examining and studying the ruins. The design of the lower structure of the pyramid takes a new approach compared to the Saqqara pyramid that was built before it. The funerary chamber was raised to the body of the pyramid. The underground parts were not only built by drilling into the rock, but rather a long, open pit lined with stone blocks was built for them. The entrance to the pyramid is located on the northern facade, at a height of 18 meters. From there begins an entrance 1.5 meters high and 0.90 meters wide at the bottom. After a short entrance to the bottom, there is a deep well that may have been to receive water that might leak from the pyramid, to prevent water from entering the other rooms. The entrance ends with a first room with two right and left corners, 1.7 meters high and 2.60 meters x 2.20 meters. From here, a second room branches off. Its dimensions are approximately the same as the first room, 2.65 meters x 2.10 meters, and it is located on the right side of the entrance. Both entrance rooms have a low ceiling, and the ceiling of each room is roofed with wide, solid stones that do not have cracks. Starting from the second entrance room is a new vestibule 4.5 meters long, then a vertical opening upwards that leads to the main room. The funerary chamber measures 5.90 meters x 2.65 meters and is 5.05 meters high. It is oriented north and south. The roof has a stepped dome, distributing the pressure of the pyramid on both sides of the funerary chamber. There is no coffin in the main room, and there are no traces indicating the presence of a coffin there before. The pyramid complex was surrounded by a wall 2 meters high, 236 meters long, and 218 meters wide in the east direction, and nothing remained of it except the remains of a slide. The purpose of the wall was to reserve space for other buildings built later. The hall around the pyramid was paved with dry clay. There is nothing left of the funerary temple on which work was completed during the second phase, as taking its place had become necessary for the construction of the third phase of the pyramid. It is believed that the location of this temple was east of the pyramid. The pyramid temple consists of two rooms that open into an open hall leading to the pyramid. In the foyer there is an offering table and two large stone panels with no inscriptions on them. Measurements of the two rooms, 9 meters x 9.18 meters, and their roofing stones are still in place. In the two rooms of the funerary temple, there are no storerooms or false doors, as is common in large funerary temples. The good condition of the funerary temple is due to the fact that it was hidden under the rubble.